Oh, okay, there. We're good.
I hope my notification.
And here we go.
Welcome back to the 101, brought to you by Lincoln Wallace. I'm Michael Morris, and I'm flying solo here today because Madison is out. Andrew is out because the sun is shining, so he's on a roof somewhere. Rachel is sitting on the back on a couch and on the floor with the computer on the couch. But we're still going to do our small business entrepreneurship show today, and today I have a new friend, a new guest, but new friend, Michelle Pelleschi. I knew I was going to blow that. Michelle,
I think
correct
you did
me.
Fine.
Michelle is from Body Contours by Michelle. Where'd you get that name from?
I made it up on a whim.
Did it take 2 to 3 hours?
It took 2 to 3 minutes.
That's awesome. It's good when those things kind of come together real quick. The reason we have Michelle on is Michelle and I talked about a week ago, I think, or maybe
Yes.
2. Yeah. Why don't you give people a little bit of a background? I know your background from our phone call, but I would like to know, or let our audience know, a little bit about who you are, just as a person, and we'll get into the business in a minute.
As a person, well, I am a single mom. There are 4 little ones that run around and run me around like crazy. I work at a spa, I'll say that much. And I got into that just about 4 years ago, but I am just out there to spread wellness and live a life that's healthy. And so came to be everything that we're going to talk about in a little bit here. But I'm pretty boring when it comes to my personal life.
No, that's okay. Everybody on this show is pretty boring when it comes to personal life
Right.
because they're all small business or entrepreneurs.
Right.
So if you ask someone what they do, they'll tell you what they do all day and night.
Right.
And it's never, I was out so late, I was having such a good time.
Right.
It is, I finally finished this, whatever it is, at 9 o'clock and went home and went to bed for the next day. So don't feel bad. That you don't have to be entertaining. I think people need to understand being a small business owner or an entrepreneur, you also have responsibilities at home. You know,
Certainly.
I think all but one person that we've had on the show, actually Madison's the only one that's been on the show that didn't have a kid, and he's one of the co-hosts.
Okay.
So
yeah,
that
kids
just-
run our lives, I think, especially the ages mine are.
Well, you got 4. I mean, that's amazing. So when you started this whole trip, you're a single mom. What made you get into business for yourself?
I think I was looking for hours that would be conducive to the schedule of the children. And it's really hard to get that unless you're in business for yourself. And I think it was a long time ago, actually, that my dad told me, if you don't want to be bossed around, be your own boss. And so in my head, I always thought that. Now, don't get me wrong. At every job I've ever had, I've been my own boss in
Right.
my head. They just
I
don't
know.
it.
When we spent time in the lobby, I could tell no one was going to tell you what was going on.
Right.
I just meant there had to be a point in there that you had to decide, like, did you feel like there were like kind of bumps in the road where you were, I have to get out of doing this because I know better than the person that's telling me what to do?
I just feel like when you learn something and you get excited about something, because it came up kind of suddenly, to be quite honest with you. I just did the regular run around, trying to do everything I could to make a buck, to get my kids where they needed to be. But I wasn't like thinking something up to become my own business owner. It found me. And it was kind of by accident. And when it happened rather quickly. So I fell in love with the product and I went with it, and it's been good.
What got you into, well, first of all, explain what it is that you do.
So my business is Body Contours by Michelle.
Again, brilliant name. Go on.
I work inside of the Cove Day Spa, which is located in Hilliard. And we do everything inside of there. But the Body Contours is a name to sort of describe, it's what they call laser-like lipo. So laser-like lipo is a cold laser. It's not going to burn you. It's not going to cut you. It's infrared light, basically. And the light will penetrate through the skin, and it will open the subcutaneous fat cell, and it shrinks it. It releases what's inside of the fat cell. When what's inside gets released, the fat cell shrinks, so people shrink. They lose inches. It's amazing. But little did I know, happening upon it, how much more there is to that than just losing some inches. It's like all over wellness. It's like waking your body up and waking up your lymphatic system. So I never, people always want to call it weight loss, a weight loss system or something like that. I never promise weight loss. I promise inch loss because
weight loss isn't really the biggest factor, right? Because everybody triggers on weight loss, but isn't it in the phrase the best weight for you is the healthiest weight that you can operate in or something? I read that somewhere where it was people are so focused on a number. You can lose 30 pounds,
right,
but you can barely be able to get off the couch. You could look good, but you're not going to have any energy. So it's more of how you're...
It's wellness.
Yeah, it's wellness, but I was going to say how you're contoured. We should say that, how you're contoured.
Oh. You
should have that on a shirt like you do. So you get into this business, and I'm familiar with this because I remember this was something that I want to say about 7 or 8 years ago was the first time I was exposed to this. And to see the before and afters of people, I mean, it wasn't just changing the shape of their body, but it was changing their mindset.
Absolutely.
They were very excited to be part of that before and after. Like, they hated to take that first photo, but like 8 weeks later, they couldn't wait to show people.
I always tell people there's no names, no faces on these before photos, but a picture tells 1,000 words. And so I can do a measurement all day long, but when you see, it's not only the inch loss, but the light is also... It's toning, it's tightening, it smooths the skin. So that picture is amazing, and people do love it, and they get very excited. I think some people come in looking for like maybe a miracle, like a quick miracle, and I always tell people, it is very, I love this product, it's amazing, but you work with it, you have to work with it. If you don't work with it, I could probably shave 1.5 inches off of your waist after a few sessions, but if you're working with it, you might have 5 inches off of your waist. So why wouldn't you do that? You're paying for it, to do the best you can, because there's other things that come with it that help.
Well, it's funny that you say that you pay for it, because when I knew we were going to talk about this today, I pulled just some general research. I was told this actually when the housing crisis happened, that if you look at the amount of plastic surgery and people that bought gym memberships and everything else, when your financial status is down, you don't want to look bad. And the number one thing that was rocketing up was plastic surgery and looking better and all these different alternative health methods, because I may not have money, but I'm not going to let you know that I look ratty, right?
Exactly.
So when you look at that in your business, how long ago did you start this?
4 years.
4 years ago.
A little bit over.
So you were kind of, the kind of bounce back in the economy had happened, right? So that's about 9-10 years after all that went down. What were you doing when all that went down? So you started 4 years ago, but you had to be doing something when the economy tanked, right?
Like, what was I doing prior to having my own business? Well, I work out at a restaurant in the city of Columbus, and it's a fine dining, high-end restaurant. So, you know,
can say White Castle, it's fine.
It's kind of like a castle to me. It's my own personal castle. I am the queen of the place.
But well, I'm going to call and double check that
don't
later.
Don't tell them I said that. So now I was working at this restaurant. So again, it gave me a little flexibility for the kids, but double shifts. I mean, to make the money you're going to make, you have to, because you never know. And after the economy tanked, not a whole lot of people were running out and spending $400 on a meal. So and
they weren't tipping $20 to $50 either.
Right. Well,
the only reason I asked that is because you had to see that you were working in I don't want to say a big corporation, but there was something there that was bigger than you. There was this machine, and you had to see that the revenues were going down.
Right. But
you still took that step to be a business owner.
I took a big risk, and I when I got the idea in my head, it was full force ahead. Like when I saw it, I came across it myself, like through a Groupon. I came across this body contour.
Oh, so you were like a targeted customer.
Yes.
I see.
It was so... You want me to tell you how it all started?
Well, we only have 42 minutes left. You have all the time in the world.
Let me make it fast then.
All right.
So,
no, you can drag it out.
I said, no, seriously. It's like everyone, and my clients ask me, how did you get into this? So it was a time between insurances. So I went off of like a medication. And because I went off of the medication, I couldn't get a refill. My body was craving like serotonin and craving sugar. So unbeknownst to me, I'm like shoveling sugar like never before. And I had 4 children, and suddenly I had this tire around my waist that I had never had before. And I was uncomfortable. I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? Like, what's going on? About that time, my then husband had suggested a trip like in the next month for his birthday. And I was like, oh, that sounds great. We hadn't had a trip like without the kids for years. But here I was feeling like the most unattractive, and it was terrible. And I thought, oh my gosh, I have 1 month and I need to do something because I want to feel good. We're going by ourselves. I want to buy some clothes, whatever. So Jamie at the Cove, where I work now, I was always a client there, and they do these slim wraps, which are fabulous. They do jumpstart your lymphatic system, all the stuff that I learned now. But what it would do at the time is quickly take your waist down a little bit. So I was looking to see if she had a Groupon for that, which I did do, prior to this trip. But I also came across a Groupon from another company that does what I do or did. I don't think she's there anymore. But it was a different kind of machine. It was the same infrared light, but it was on like a panel instead of the paddles that I use for contouring. Yeah. And I did it. It was $139, I think I paid for one session in a Groupon. And I was very happy with the results. Like, it was easy breezy. I laid there. I was kind of skeptical. Like, what is this going to do? Well, sure enough, my measurement went down to my waist, and I felt tighter after one session. I think my lymphatic system was probably really searching for its own answer there. Like, if it works so fast for me, I think the faster it works for people, it means that you really needed that jump start with your lymphatic system. So suddenly I felt better. Suddenly my pants weren't as uncomfortable, and I had the one session. Well, the woman that was there had told me, well, if you really want to see a great result, you'll need like 6 more sessions, and they're $200 a piece. And I was like, what? Like, there is no way that I can afford this. But I was so bummed, but at the same time, it interested me. It sparked my interest in a way like nothing had in a long time. So I started researching big time. I was thinking to myself, I laid under a light. Nobody was even in there with me. Like, why is this so expensive? So I began researching all the different companies. There were 3 machines out at the time, I think, that were big in the market. I think they still are. I personally use Vivaz, and then there was the Zerona and the Ultra Slim, I think. Talked to the companies, talked to the people, looked into training, found out, like, how do you get into this? Like, what is this about? Like, got a ton of information. Then the process really started. Sometimes my brain just won't stop. And I started talking to my mom, and I was like, I really want to do this, and I'm really interested in this. And I said, it's motivated me. Like, the motivational part of it, when you see a result that quickly, you're going to try to do everything you can to not put that inch back on. And trust me, Mike, like, nobody would have seen the inch off my waist but me. Like, it's an inch. You know what I'm saying?
But isn't that what makes people so, I don't want to say seduced by it, but the results for them kind of drag them in. Like, they want to see where they can go, right?
Right.
Because that's the whole reason. If you look at people that they get a gym membership or whatever it is they get involved in, is they want to see a result.
Right.
They may not see it just going to the gym, but they are getting it. Like, the way that you're so passionate about it.
In the long term, they get it. But the thing is, like, how do you stay motivated to do what you're doing if you're not seeing a result?
Right.
So when you see kind of a quick result, like usually for my business, within 3 sessions, you'll see something. You could see it after 1. You might see it after 2. A lot of people, to let me know.
But they could probably. But you said you could feel it.
I could feel it.
You could feel it after 1.
I felt tighter. I felt like. It definitely shrunk. So it was 1 inch that nobody else would see, but I'm walking around now. My head's a little higher. And I was like, God, I feel good. I went on that trip, felt good in any of the clothes I wore. I did everything to make sure that I didn't reverse like what I just did. I was drinking lots of water. I think I did, like, in Vegas. Can you imagine? In Vegas, I did a 2-drink maximum for the day. And I was.
Why even go to Vegas?
That was his birthday trip. But
well, happy birthday to him back then.
Right. And luckily, this is what got it all started. So I should thank him, I guess. I never thought of it that way.
You never know who's going to turn you on to something that's going to be your future. But so you go through this yourself, and then you go to Vegas.
And it was on the plane on the way back that I was like, oh my God, I got to do this.
Well, tell me about that. So you're on the way back, and what are you thinking? Because now you're thinking, I'm somehow, some way, You're not thinking about, I've got to get an LLC, I've got to get land, I got to get, right? You're just thinking you want to do this.
I want to find out how to do this. How can I was so upset that it was so expensive. I couldn't understand that part of it. And I was like, I want to find out how to do this and how to offer it to people reasonably so that everybody can take advantage of it, because it's awesome. And I want people to be able to afford it. So that's how it started. That's how it began. And then through the research for the machines, I settled on the machine I was going to use. There were sales reps at the time in my area that did training and technical stuff with me. It's a train tech is what you do to get your certification. And it could, depending on where you're going, what machine you're using, you might have to travel here, there, and everywhere. But Dr. Jamie is the doctor that has invented this machine. He's out in Arizona, eccentric man. I do like him a lot, though. I like to find seminars that he will put out yearly. I try to get to at least one, because there is more and more information on this infrared light that comes out every year. And it's like a continuing education for me. I might go over some of the same stuff when I had his seminars, but you learn so much more. And it gets more and more exciting.
But it's not a continuing education course kind of like a hygienist would take. It's more if you want to come.
Yeah, you don't have to.
This laser situation, I remember when this first came to this market because a client of mine had it. And it was in the infancy stages of what they could do with it. But it was working. Mm-hmm. It was just they kept learning more and more, like every 6 months. Like, if you do this or tweak this, even more happens. So that was probably 2007, 2008 when I first saw this thing. So to this point, I don't want to get off the story of how you came to be, because you're so excited about it. I think people need to hear, if you're going to start a business, we always want somebody that's going to be very passionate to tell their story. So you come back and you start doing the research. How do you start doing your research? Because now you're going to own a company.
Sure.
So what is the first step you take?
Internet searching, like trying to get as much information as I can from all these different companies. And then I reached out and called all the different companies and spoke. I mean, these people probably hated me because... But
this is the coolest thing, because one of the coolest stories I ever heard was Steve Jobs, when he was a kid, would call the Hewlett-Packard, because they were in California, to ask them for parts, because he just wanted to see how it worked.
Right.
And people don't make phone calls. They don't try to make connections anymore. It's, especially now, we were talking before the mics went on. We're so buried in our phones, but we don't use the phone to call people. You did something that those people were probably happy to get a phone call, not just an email or a text or something, right?
Right.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but that was the exciting part, is you took the extra step that nobody else is taking. You're going to research.
To gather the information you want, you have to talk to people, because as they're telling you, sure, they can write stuff down and send it in an email. But as you're reading the email, questions pop up. Well, if you're not, what am I going to go back and forth all day? Like, let's just be on the horn. Let me stop. Right. Like, you're stopping me now to ask. Like, I'll stop you and ask you. And that's how it went. And with all three of the big companies, I was on the phone asking all these questions. I was trying to figure out if I'm going to invest in this, and the equipment is very expensive. If I'm going to invest in this, I want the best that I think is out there, and I want to go with the people that I can have that constant connection with, so that when I have more questions, or who's going to back me here, like it was very important about what machine I was going to get into. And then we had, then you get into the financing and all of that. That came rather quickly. I mean, I thank my mom for that. She came up with a down payment for me, and it all started from there. So the next part of it is like, now, okay, I'm going to do this. Where am I going to do it at?
Right.
So,
well, let me back up real quick, because I want to ask this question. So you call these three companies. Mm-hmm. Did they put you through right away? Or was it... Here's why I'm asking, because I'm picturing they probably don't get a lot of phone calls of somebody like, I've got a question about this.
Right.
I'm always curious about how high you can go. So, for instance, Rachel and I we were actually doing another show. We were just in a room where we produce another show. And somebody gets our information and leaves, and then asks us as a follow-up, and I was just like, I don't even remember meeting this person, whatever. We end up getting to kind of like the regional person.
Sure.
And I think we're just there to answer questions, and then it gets to like the CFO level as the next level. And it was one of those things where nobody had reached out to this person, so of course they reached out to us back because they weren't that busy, right? I mean, it wasn't like they had 10 phone calls to answer. It was nobody even knew this person's name. So we were able to get right to them, whether anything happens at that point, no big deal. But you never know what you're going to run into, right? So when you call those people, I would think one of them had to be like, I have about an hour. Let's talk on the phone. Let's do something, you know?
I did have one lady. I can remember her name was Carol. And so I didn't even choose that company, but I remember talking to her several times. You know, some of the people that you get a hold of when you're calling these places, they're just doing sales. Like, they just want to sell you equipment. Okay, great. That's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to research. I'm trying to find out, like, where did your company start? How did you, where are you manufacturing here?
When you also have to know if they're a reliable company for you, but also do you have a good name in the industry?
Right.
You know, you don't want to buy something and then all of a sudden there's some lawsuit that's coming out and you've invested your money in their product.
Absolutely. And in the case of something like that, are you going to be backed? Are you going to be backed by them? Like, things like that.
Did you ask that question?
I did. I said,
I always ask that question first, kind of like, are you sure that this is going to be okay on your end?
You're the big dog. And so if anything comes down, you're the one that has the resources to get us out of this. So you got me?
Yeah.
I'm from Youngstown. We don't...
Oh, you should have said that to begin with.
Right.
I mean, there are probably people in your family with different last names now that are living in different states. It's fine to assume that. So you're going to start it, and how do you determine where you're going to go?
Well, like where it was going to be located.
Yes, so now you know your machine. You know you got your machine.
I knew which machine I wanted now at this point. So before I made that, next step, I had to really think about how am I going to do this. So it just so happened I was a client at the Cove already, and the owner Jamie, like all of our clients at the Cove, become your friend. Like your clients become your friends, and so I kind of went in there, and I think I was getting a service done by her, and I was thinking about it. And I went into the infrared sauna with a total stranger at the time. In fact, she's from here. She's from Upper Arlington. And didn't know her and sat, because we were both, wrapped in this infrared sauna. I started talking to her about it. And she got so excited. Like, this lady that I was talking, total stranger. And she's like, oh my God, it would be great. Yeah, you should do it. So as soon as I walked out of that sauna, I was like, hey, Jamie, how do you feel about if I invested in this equipment and got my training and did all of this? Like, how would you feel about me working out of the spa, out of the salon? And
of course she said no.
Oh my goodness, Jamie never says no, at least not the first time. You'll have to meet Jamie, Mike.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we'll follow up on that question when she gets here.
Right. So no, she was excited. She couldn't, I think she had also heard of it, but didn't know much about it, and was really excited. And so that's how it began. She's like, absolutely. And so
again, you asked the question.
Mm-hmm.
But it all starts from a conversation. So someone gets excited.
You
had one sale for sure.
Yep.
That lady.
And she's still my client to this day.
Get out.
She comes back every 3 to 6 months and does a few. She's bought sessions for her daughters now. It just is maintenance, just as it makes her feel good, and she loves it. And yep. From that day in the sauna, I will never forget her. Thank you, Lauren. And she is still my client to this day.
That's amazing. Are you guys friends on Facebook? Only because I know you're not a big Facebook user. I would be curious to know.
I don't even know if I might be friends with her on Facebook.
See, you have a real friend. My only curiosity is we were talking about your Instagram and all this other stuff, and you said you don't like it, or you're not good with it.
It's just that I'm not good with it because I'm good with people, like face to face and talk to you, and I don't really do
There's only so many radio shows you can go on. That's the only thing. You're going to have to get good at the non-face-to-face stuff.
Well, this is my first radio show.
Well, that's why we brought you
somewhere.
on. Yeah. But I mean, in the future, that's what I'm curious about is a lot of people, it's kind of like that, MTV is my cutoff. When I ask somebody, I don't have to ask how old you are. I say, did you ever watch MTV when there were music videos? If you did, I know about how old you are. If someone goes, I didn't know they showed music, and I'm like, I don't even need to talk to you anymore. You're obviously way too young. But think about that. How many people remember when MTV showed music videos? And I can tell you your age.
I never asked the question.
Yeah.
That's a good question to ask.
Juan Thomas over here is raising his hands. Our producer, he watched. Jim, what do you think that ended? 90s? He's going to say, he's nodding yes. I think it's when The Real World came out, that's when Society.
I'm really old.
Yeah. Jim is old. I don't want to start anything because we're up against a break. Let's cover the Cove when we get back because you guys have an interesting work environment.
We do.
That I was trying to explain to somebody the other day, and they gave me a blank stare. But you can kind of break it down when we come back. You are listening to 101, brought to you by Lincoln Wallace.
August 1981, August 1st, 1981, when
Wow.
MTV signed on.
They stopped
And that was
filming.
right after I graduated high school, because I graduated in
81
81.
is when they stopped making
Yeah.
music videos?
No,
Started.
when MTV
Started.
first started.
I
That
was
I
gonna
know,
say.
and I know the first video ever played, like everyone.
I'll bet it was the
Video
late
killed the
90s.
radio star.
Yeah. They had to be
And the
late
second
90s,
video
'cause
was
all
You
that
Better Run by Pat Benatar. And I used to know the third one, but it was August 1st, 1981, right around a little bit less than 2 months after I graduated high school. That's how I know I am not MTV generation.
Well, that does make sense.
But once we got cable at our fraternity house when I was at Ohio State, there were guys like, "Aren't you going to class today?" No, I'm watching music videos. They would just watch music videos like a zombie.
now those people
That's
are running our
Fortnite.
country.
And those
Wow.
people were out of school a year later.
Put that into the stupid Fortnite craze.
I've only seen that on the internet. I'm not even that old, but I'm just like, why are you sitting there for 8 hours running
Right.
around a yard?
I told my kids I'll make a Fortnite for them out in the woods for real. I said, you want to run around and shoot at each other and be in they call them skins. They pay $25 to put a skin, an outfit on a character in this game. I told my son, I don't even pay $25 for
Fortnite?
an
I don't
outfit
even
for
know
you.
what
You're out of your
Fortnite
freaking
is.
mind. Then I told him, I'll put you out in the woods, and then they build like with like you're on the computer, they're on this game, and they're building a wall to run up and hide. I go, I'll put wood and hammer and nails. You guys can build your own walls, like whatever
Sure,
you need to
they're
do.
You mean
so
actually doing it, not
I'm telling
in the
them
video
to get
game?
right. Like I'll do it. Like where I'm going to
A
create.
couple of my nephews, they do this stuff in the video game, and they're like, "Look at this, Uncle Jim, isn't this cool?" I'm
Right.
like, I played Pac-Man in
Right.
college and spent way too much money on it.
You ever go to 16 bits? That they
I don't
have
know
all
what
the
that
old.
is.
It's a bar that
Oh, I haven't played Pac-Man for 20
with all the
years.
video games, all the old
They're
video
all
games.
free, right? As long
Yep,
as you're
as
I
long
got
as
so
you're
good at
except for
Pac-Man,
pinball for some
I would
reason.
get the high score on machines, and I would sit there and play for like 2 hours on one quarter. But that was after spending probably about $10,000.
Sure.
playing Pac-Man. And my buddy was like that with Space Invaders. Then we just got bored with it.
I hope they all get bored with it because.
And the
it's
last time I played a
ridiculous.
video
It's very
game, my
addictive.
brother-in-law just kicked my tail in Madden football about 12 years ago, and he still laughs about it. 79-0 or something
He's
like
gotta
that.
let
He
it
beat
go.
me.
He's gotta
But
let
he
it
was
go
good at it.
so
I had
much.
never played it. He's like, "Let's play this," and he just
Does
kicked my
not
tail.
matter. Okay.
How am I doing?
You're doing fantastic. Just keep.
No, you
talking.
sound
Just
great.
Keep talking to me.
All right.
Just keep.
You're
giving-
doing fine.
It has to be more about you than me, because if I'm doing the talking, we're doing this wrong.
Exactly.
Okay, Jimmy, I'm ready.
Ready to roll?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
Welcome back to the 101, brought to you by Lincoln Wallace. My guest is still Michelle from Body Contours by Michelle. Michelle, you're doing a fantastic job so far. I just need some more information from you for the next 30-some minutes. I wanted to get a number out to you because I don't know if you know this number. When I was doing the research for you coming in, $60 billion is spent in the United States on anything to do with gym, makeup, contouring, any of that. That's not including just plastic surgery.
No.
So when you think about that, do you think as a small business owner, like, I could make probably a little bit more money on that, right?
I'd like to make a bigger chunk.
Yeah,
of that
you can't.
60
I don't
million,
think the
like
billion is in your sights, but
Right.
why I think that's a cool number to look at is when people are breaking down like a business like yours. The average gym membership is about somewhere between $35 and $55 a month. So when you add that over the course of a year, we were talking about how people are looking for results.
Mhm.
You can go to the gym 4 days a week if you want, and you may never even get out of it what your service provides, and it's a lot less than that if you looked at it over a 12-month period, right?
Absolutely.
So I want you to kind of get back into, we talked about the history of, you talked to Jamie, you had this great idea, you put it together, and then you mentioned the Cove, which is kind of like a really cool idea. Explain what the Cove is.
So the Cove is a day spa. We're in Hilliard. It used to be the Cove Wellness Spa. We changed it to day spa. We moved recently, last year, about coming up on this time, sometime in early July. We moved across the street from where we were, we were next to Planet Fitness, and we're across the street on Roberts Road next to Salvation Army. Jamie got us into a much bigger space. And we've expanded a lot. So it started when I first went into the Cove. I think it was Candace, Jamie, another part business owner at the time. She's not with us anymore.
R.I.P. I'm just kidding. Go on.
So, well, No.
Not yet.
But Jamie kind of just took over as sole proprietor. So it was Jamie, the other owner was Candace, me. I think there were, our nail tech Sammy was there, and a couple of the hairdressers. Carrie was there, Kim was there, who are all still with us, by the way. And little by little, we were expanding and bringing in new people and adding more. And our space was so limited. I mean, Jamie's husband is in construction. God love that man. How many times she brings him in and says, okay, tear down this wall, build me a wall here. I need a door. I need another room. I need the funniest part is, and Jamie would get a kick out of it, when they first brought me in, I had the biggest room in the Cove. Then I got moved to the next room. Then the walls changed and my room got smaller. Next thing I knew, she was expanding again, and now it was moving into this area that was like, I call it the closet. She put me in the closet. Like, it was so small. And Jamie has this way about her. Anyone at the Cove would tell you that she could just make anything seem like it's all right. Everything's okay. Like, everything.
This is what you want.
Right. She said, oh, let's not worry about it now. Because when she first told me she was going to move me into the one room, I was like, this is small. I don't even know if my equipment, I have to be able to get around the bed. And she's like, oh, let's not worry about it now. It's not going to happen for a while. It'll be quite some time.
Tomorrow.
I think it was like 5 days later.
Well, she technically didn't lie to you. It wasn't right away.
Right. It wasn't right away. So I walk in and then all my stuff is moved or whatever. I think she made it better for me by putting new carpeting in my room, which made it better. So I told her then, though, it doesn't matter. I'll go wherever with you, because she's amazing. She's an amazing business owner, a great friend, and in our business. And I learned this because this was my first experience in a salon or a spa or any kind of place like this. But I learned that in places like that, you don't stay, you move around a lot. And I did see my sister, who's now at the Cove as a nail tech, move around to a lot of different places before she came with us. And I thought, wow, like, who bounces like why do they do that? Well, nobody's happy. Like, either the bosses make you miserable, or the cattiness between women, or the competition. Like, instead of building each other up, they're trying to tear each other down. And
because it's all women, you mean?
Maybe I don't want to say that because it sounds so.
I know what you mean. Well, that was the point before we went to break, when I brought up how you guys exist as a company.
Right.
And somebody just said that would never work, and I'm like, no, but that's happening. This isn't a new thing. It's happening.
I am told that this is something that you would never see, and everyone that joins us and comes in, later, all the people. I'm thinking we're up to 22 contractors in there now. We're all independent contractors, and it started.
How did you get 22 independent contractors that are not fighting with each other?
We're all such great friends. It's the atmosphere. It starts with Jamie, her attitude. And her personality, it doesn't matter what is going on in her life, because, all of us have things going on. She's got a smile on her face. She's happy to be there. She's she's an amazing lady. It spills over into everybody else. I mean, if you're not, I think Jamie must see it in people too. Like, I bet she wouldn't take on somebody who she knew wouldn't fit into our little clique. It was the small circle of ladies that became such great friends, stayed on together. We move across the street, we're expanding. We were nervous. I mean, trust me, there was a little bit, where I'm like, okay, here comes new people. Are they gonna get along? Are they gonna be? It's been fabulous, and we just all are like a family. Like, even on days off, we're with each other for hours a day, and then Jamie will send a message out. Which I don't get her messages on Snapchat because I'm not on
I know, we're still working you in Instagram.
I'm still trying. But she sends out an invitation, cook out at my house, everyone bring a side dish. And it's like, when? Where? When? Now. Like, and we all go to her house. And holidays, you go over Jamie's. If you don't have anything going on with your own family or whatever, you go over Jamie's. We do, like, outings almost once a year. We did the pedal wagon downtown, all of us. I mean, that was hysterical. We're getting ready to do a cabrewing trip. We go on vacations. Jamie, Candace, and I just got back from Cabo in January. We took a little girls' trip. We're such a close-knit group. It's crazy.
But what's cool about that whole collective is you're all entrepreneurs, because you're not doing the same thing.
No, that's right.
So a lot of times on the show, we'll talk about networking with other people, and it is hard to find someone to network with, because like you said before, it's a sale. Like, I've always got somebody who can't wait. Let's go have coffee because I got this thing I have to show you. That kind of thing. It's not what they can do or what do you need. It's
Right.
I need to do this because I want the commission or the money for it. You've got 22 people that one person can ruin that entire thing because you're all under one roof.
Right.
That's what I think is cool about that whole collective is you all know someone that's going to need one of those services, right? So do you kind of feed off each other?
Absolutely. We network big time. Like, I get a lot of clients from referrals from the hairdressers. I am asked all the time by clients, like, who can do my hair? Who would you send me to for this, that, or the other? And all of the girls have their own specialties. We have one girl that is great with men's cuts. She's been working in men's cuts for years, and that's who I would send any of my male friends to. We have a color specialist, like, fabulous at color. We have short haircuts. Who's good with long haircuts? Who's good with balayage? Like, everybody has their own specialty. Some people are funkier, so they're good at doing funkier haircuts. Like, we have such a diverse group that there's one guy in our spa, and he has his own clientele and does his thing. So it's kind of neat. It's kind of crazy.
Who put that together? I guess Jamie would have done it, right?
She started it, but like I said, we were small. And then as we were expanding and she wanted more and more people, and poor Tommy was building walls and knocking walls down and changing rooms. And finally, I think she just said, I really want a lot more space. And so the space had opened up across the street. And now we have like a spa side and then the hair and nail side for all the services. So many services.
It's just such a different way to look at it because being that they're all independent contractors,
No,
but they're staying.
Yes.
It's
yes,
not that
long
they're
term. We've all been, like, our core group is still together, and as we've taken on, I can't think of anybody that's left. Like, as we grow,
It's so cool.
Yeah, 4 years later, we're just growing because nobody's leaving.
Where do you think that they? As far as your role there, you were one of the original. Let's just call it the core in the beginning. So you've got your customer base. Are you getting referrals? Is that where most people are finding out about you, or is it
Word
the
of
internet?
mouth. It's not. It's. I guess a little internet, but word of mouth is where it's at. And then, of course, Jamie, smart business lady that she is, started an email group from all of our clients. So by the time I got there, they were there about probably 2 years before I got there. So I'm not really the initial core group, but as far as like
You worked your way in.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, big time. I'm like,
Well,
I
you're
think
so
I'm at
bashful.
least
It probably
vice
was hard for
president.
you.
I got to be at least vice
Oh
president.
yeah. If
I
not
get to do all the
secretary.
dirty work, by the way. They make me do all the dirty work.
Yeah, you're from Youngstown. You're probably
I
doing
got
a hit job type thing.
Right. I always say we don't talk about it. That's why they didn't get
Right.
caught.
We
We
just-
can't talk
yeah.
about it.
They got taken care of.
But when you have to get serious, like with any kind of marketing people that you're working with, and it's not going well, or you have to get kind of a little bit, because Jamie's such a bubbly, nice, kind person. Like, it's all of a sudden, it's like, Michelle, we need you to.
You got to have somebody on that.
Right. I thought it was going to be Candace, our massage therapist, because she's tough, She's all talk. She's the sweetest thing ever. Like, believe me. I guess she would be vice president, and I would be reduced to, like, treasurer or secretary, but I got to do the dirty work.
Yeah, you're in the. Let's just say you're in the top 5. Somewhere in the top 5 for sure. Someone is going to listen to this and take offense, and that's going to be awesome.
No, I don't know. I bet you they won't. I bet you they'd be laughing their
Well,
butts off if they heard
they won't be
this.
speaking up. We can just put it that way. So your customer base has grown for different reasons. You have the email database, but also word of mouth, the people that you work with.
Basically, that's it.
So where are you now? So you're 4 years into this, and it's your show. From day one to today, how do you feel about where you're at? I mean, you're seeing growth, I would think.
Absolutely. Actually, this year has been really great, and I'm very grateful, very blessed. I think that the spa altogether has seen a lot of growth in business. I mean, of course, we're bringing in more people who have their own client base already, and so here comes these new independent contractors, and then they're coming from maybe smaller places that didn't have as many services, and so now their clients are opening their eyes to all of these different services that are being offered. I mean, I've done little things, like I've taken my postcards and whatever, and I've put them all over the place in Planet Fitness as long as they would let me, and I try to get things out there via Facebook or whatever. But marketing is very expensive, and it's been hard to do as a business
Sole
owner, a
proprietor.
sole proprietor, like you're all by yourself. So as we're getting bigger now, I'm trying to get the girls involved in doing more together collectively as the Cove, but we're still independent.
Mhm.
It just becomes a little bit more reasonable, a little bit more manageable.
Well, that's got to be the challenge because you have so many different cabs under one roof, and it's not. If you were to do a billboard or a magazine or whatever, you can't put them all in there because then it looks
Right.
like a NASCAR vehicle. It's
Right.
like you can't. Not everyone's going to get the same size thing and all that.
Right.
But again, it's cool that you took something that was a passion and you saw it from that to where you're at now.
Right.
Would you say this is the best year you've had in the 4 years?
I
you've been
think
doing it?
so, and I don't know.
And we're only 6 months into it.
I have to say, and you know what? I'm all by myself doing this, and so it's hard for me to keep track, like really good track of numbers and things like that. But I just, you just know when you're not flipping out trying to pay your electric bill, the business must be okay, Or,
That's how I always judge it.
That's
if
how
the bills
that's
are
my
paid,
judgment. I
I'm
may
like,
not
hey,
have a
we're good.
ledger that tells me exactly where I am.
Wait, do you do it the old school way? Do you actually like handwrite it?
Oh yes.
Oh, what are you doing? You could do this so much faster.
Oh my God, Jamie gave me this paper where she writes all her bills, and she made me copy it, and that's how we do it.
Do you have a
That's how
computer?
she does
We're
it.
going to show you how to do this later.
I do.
There's such an easier way to do it.
I know. Somebody teach me something.
We actually
honestly.
just had a show about this like a month ago about like taxes and keeping track of all that stuff.
Ugh.
And when you said like a ledger, I'm like you're running a
No.
drugstore from the 1950s.
What do you think my tax lady feels like?
Oh, I
When
can't
give her
even
my
imagine.
taxes up, my receipts, and my written down hand like this.
This is what this was for, and this
Oh,
and
God
such
love
as.
her. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I do. You're definitely from the generation that had MTV with the videos. We'll just say
No, come on, look at me.
I
Do
didn't
look
say-
like I could be that?
that. You do not. I didn't say how well that makes you. I just meant you have a ledger. You
I
need
do.
like a pocket
But that's
protector.
just
That's
be-
kind of a nerdy thing to have.
I'm a little bit old school, I guess, but I'm so disorganized. I think that's it. My ADD is off the chain. I can't keep. Believe me, even my little pieces of paper end up everywhere.
I'm just glad that we were able to hold this conversation for this long. We are up against the last break. But when we come back, we want to get more into you and the Cove.
Mm-hmm.
You're listening to the 101 brought to you by Lincoln Wallace. So I want to, when we come back, I want you to say how big I'm going to hold it here and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to ask you in the middle of it, but I want you to be like, do you need a cheat sheet? Because I have all the information here.
I mean, basically, I've got the website, thecovehilliard.com. Will take us. That's Jamie does it. Oh my God, we need help with that. That website
I
is
saw.
like, oh my God.
Okay.
And God love her, she just does it all herself. But
Here's the beauty of all this shit. We can put it all together and make it all function at the same time. Because if you get that many people, like your Instagram, why, unless you guys want to do it yourself, why would every single person, every couple hours do it? Like, what happens is, like Rachel's posting constantly. I mean, even if it's she's going to pick up a check, taking a picture of the building that she's walking into. I'm not there, but people constantly see us moving around every single day. We're doing this. I think it's valuable if you're doing your service and posting it. But you gotta put, so it has to be more personal, especially since it's just you. If the Cove was just you and everybody's doing the same thing, there's not a lot of change. It's
Right.
cool that you guys can like share and bounce off each other's stuff.
but it's not
Document-
enough. Like I really would
No,
like
it's
to.
not.
Yeah.
But there's a million different ways to do it. What's cool is you guys are making money and you're not doing it. You're not doing the marketing right. You're doing nothing
Right.
the easy way.
Right.
I don't mean that you're not doing it the right way. It's just nothing is helping you.
Right.
If you get it all in line, you guys can be the premier place where someone goes for all these services.
That would be amazing.
But it has to
Our
be
place
something.
is just as gorgeous as any like.
Where you said it's across from Planet Fitness.
Yeah.
Where is that?
So it's on Roberts Road. You know where the Salvation Army is now?
Mhm.
It's right in that plaza, which is a sucky plaza, by the way. But
Is it sucky because of what's around it?
it's sucky because a couple of reasons. So the bar on the very end never gets. It always closes down. Like that place can't stay open to save its life. And it's a nice big place with a beautiful bar and all these TVs and pool tables. Like, it's great.
People don't
It's
go
the
to this place
location.
anymore.
There's a plaza that sits this way, right? We're behind this way in this plaza on the corner. So Hilliard Rome is here, Roberts is here. You got a plaza in front of you here, so nobody can see this little strip.
Right.
All you really see is Salvation Army. It sticks out the most. So we're in this corner next to them, and then there's this Middle Eastern food place.
So you're not getting any people are coming there as a destination.
Yes.
They're not coming by a mistake. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean,
and then when you walk in, like people do, you're saying like people do notice the atmosphere in there. Like people do notice like how we all get along and joke around, and we are so probably inappropriate at times, like our sense of humor, like it's just fun, like nobody is like trying to be prude or priss, or like we just have the most fun. My sister and I forget it, like when we get to talking, like all of a sudden the Jersey accents come out and people are just like, where are these two coming from? And it goes on and on, like we just play off of each other and entertain the whole place. Like if you're in between clients, you're entertained in there.
I want to see that place.
Sometimes dancing happens spontaneously.
Just like
Sometimes,
here.
I know,
You
right?
okay, Jimmy?
No, we got. I just drinking too much water. You know, I had a cup of coffee.
Just
Yeah,
checking
I
on you.
don't probably drink as much water as you, but I drink about 90 ounces a day. But you gotta pee.
I
You know?
understand. All right, are you ready? We're gonna come back.
We got
and we're gonna
about 13 or 14 more minutes.
Okay, cool.
So, ready?
Yep.
Here we go.
Welcome back to the 101, brought to you by Lincoln Wallace. Michelle's still here with me. Michelle, say hello.
Hello there.
So we were talking about the Cove, but we should talk about if somebody's listening and they just want to contact you for your service, tell them how they can do that.
So we all operate in the Cove, and the phone number for the Cove Day Spa is 614-529-4199. That will get you any service in the Cove, but the front desk lady, who happens to be my mom, see, we are like a family in there.
Then I talked to her on the phone.
You did?
Yeah, because I could tell it was somebody older on the phone that was very nice. When I asked for you, she returned my phone call to you, and I thought, I'm not sure if she knows who I'm asking for. And then she's like, but I could tell her. I'll go get her. And I'm
Right.
like, you'll go get her?
Yeah, I got
It
my
wasn't-
own personal secretary.
Yeah.
She's the best.
Anyway, continue. I just want to
So-
say I did talk to your mom. She's a nice lady.
She's a doll. Everyone loves her. So you could call into the spa and get an appointment. You can go online. It's I don't have my own
Line.
like internet, but the Cove is www.thecovehilliard.com, and all of our services are listed on the website. And then it's very easy to click on a service, and then it'll say schedule now or schedule here, and you can pick your service and pick your person, and you can schedule right online at your convenience. So that's kind of nice. I use that a lot for people.
Oh, you mean through the website you can book it that way?
Yeah,
I didn't go that far. I was on the website, but I didn't try to like book an appointment. I was trying to find all the services because there was memberships also was on there.
right.
I'm not sure what that was.
So, memberships for the Cove, no, but there's memberships for like certain people. Like
Yeah,
Candace
that's what
has a membership with Waters of Atlantis, which she's a massage therapist, so
Oh,
you could
okay.
do a yearly membership with her. And so, some of the others might, but I haven't even looked for a long time. We work as a team, so under the one website, you can click on any of the services. You can get in and schedule your services right online, which is most convenient, I think. Other than that, you can reach me if you have questions by email. I have bodycontoursbymichelle@gmail.com, and that's my direct email, and I'm happy to answer any questions. And then, of course, my phone, which, funny thing is, back when I started this, I didn't think about, business phone, cell phone, or whatever. At some point, I'm probably going to have to separate the two, but I try to get back to people as quickly as I can. My number would be 614-381-7013, and I do answer texts a lot faster than I would phone calls.
I know this
because
for a fact.
being with clients all day, it's hard to break away to make that call. And then the kids, for God's sakes, the running that I do. So email is the best way if you have a lot of questions. I mean, I'm happy to answer, and text messaging, no problem.
Can you give that email just one more time?
Yeah, it's bodycontoursbymichelle@gmail.com.
So right now, you're you're 4 years into this. Where do you want to go with it? This is not going to be an exact science, so you don't have to have the exact right answer.
No.
But every time we say that, what I mean by that is where do you see yourself in a 2 to 5 year period? the way I always evaluate anything that we're doing, whether it's personally, business-wise, is 2 years at a time. Because the first year, you're trying to figure it out.
Right.
Year 2, you should be up and running. But if you don't kind of keep evaluating that every 2 years, you're going to fall into a rut. You always have to set your goal a little farther.
I have goals for sure. Now, do I still see myself at the Cove and working at? Yep, I do, because there's no better place to work. And then there's more equipment out there that I'm looking to gear towards now. This infrared light that is used for wellness and to jumpstart the lymphatic system and to get people. The body contouring is more than just shrinking the fat cell and losing some inches. It has to do with jump-starting your lymphatic system, and your body then starts to have a memory of how it's supposed to work, and that's how people do lose weight. Now, again, I can't promise weight loss for everybody because I don't know what people are eating when they leave.
Right. Well, yeah, you can't control their habits. I can't
control that. So, but I will promise inch loss, and I will promise that the more you work with it, the better it works. When I get these highly motivated people that are exercising and that are eating right, I get great results for people. So I would like to look into different pieces of equipment that are available now too. I'd like to expand. There's this thing I learned recently that was really exciting too. So when you're exercising, people that are exercising, your goal, and I think maybe even a lot of people don't know this, your goal would be to open the fat cell, to get your fat cells open while you're exercising, because that's how you're going to burn fat calorie. You're only going to burn calories up until then. Well, I think what happens is, you have to be at a certain heart rate for a certain amount of time. Everybody's different because everybody's built different, and what it takes to get there is different. But I feel like probably the reason that people don't see the best results when they're gung-ho in the gym is because by the time they get their fat cell to open via exercise, they're done exercising. So they burn the calories, they don't burn the fat calorie. Well, guess what? You come to me and I'm manually opening the fat cell. They'll be open for about 24 hours. If you exercise anytime after that, you're cheating on your exercise. You get to burn fat calorie right off the bat. So that is one of the things that I like to, when I get the exercisers in there, I like to explain to people. It's why it works so well together. So anyway, where do I see myself? 2 to 5 years. I'm going to still be at the Cove. I'm probably going to have even more equipment for people to use and to make their goals. And I know a lot of people have weight loss goals, and a lot of people have just health goals, and wellness is what it's about for me. People don't understand your lymphatic system is the sewer system of your whole body. You got to get it moving. You got to get, our bodies are bogged down with toxins. We have, from the air that we breathe to the food that we eat, we have toxins in our system, and this is why we can't lose weight. Our fat cells work against us. They don't want to open up because there's toxins in there.
Well, they do say by the American diet, by 2032, I think 50% of all children will have diabetes because of the garbage that we're eating. And it's not what you're buying at, right. It's not what you're buying at just at the grocery store, but it's school lunches and all that. So it's not like your industry is going to go away. So right. It's just too bad that that's the reason. I meant to ask you this about almost an hour ago. Who's your ideal favorite person to come in? Is it somebody that just wants to that they want to get ready for a wedding, or is it somebody that they're just struggling with weight? Who's your ideal person?
That's interesting.
And it could be both, but
it's everybody. I love to, because people that come to me are looking for help, and I'm there to help. And so for the different reasons, there's a different way to do things. You've got the girl that I've been dieting, I've been exercising, and I have a wedding in 2 weeks, and now I'm at my wit's end, and so here I am, and I can help you with that. I can definitely slim you down, tighten and tone, and you're going to look great and feel great in your dress. I have people that are just looking for something to help them motivate, and my equipment is great for motivation. I mean, you see that little bit of difference. I've said this before. Other people are not going to notice it or see it. You're going to know it. You're going to see it. You're going to get the confidence you need, and you're going to get the motivation you need to keep on doing what you're supposed to do. Drinking water, exercising, eating clean. I can't, tell you what to eat. I'm not a nutritionist, but I can tell you eat clean. You work with it. Drink the water. Half your body weight in ounces of water every day should be done anyway. When your body's bogged down with toxins and you could be the healthiest person in the world. You could be an avid exerciser, but your body's not really working the way that it could because it's not as efficient as it can be if you don't get that lymphatic system kind of cleared out and moving. The whole body vibration system that I work with my body contours.
have that too?
Yes,
Yes.
it goes with it.
Where you're standing on the deal?
Yes, intense. 27 times the muscle repetition that you get in conventional exercise.
That thing is actually amazing.
Amazing.
But it seems like it's a gimmick, like it's a carnival ride type
Oh
thing.
my God.
But that thing actually works.
Intense.
Yeah.
Intense. I have people sore the next day from it. 10 minutes is all you can do on it 3 to 4
Explain that.
times a week.
Before we run out of time, I want
Yeah.
you to explain what that thing is, because I know what we're talking
Right,
about,
right.
but I think people are like,
So
what is that thing?
You stand on it and you kind of hold on, especially at first, because
Yeah.
it starts to shake. It starts to give a vibration. And then you have to go up to a certain level. Like I'm using it, my main purpose for it is lymphatic drain. It helps with lymphatic drain. But if you're on it, I always tell people use it for all it's worth. Like let's get it up to the muscle toning and the nerve conduction and the blood circulation. And it does all these things that work. Your lymphatic system as a sewer system for your body needs that jump start. It needs to be on this vibration system. So it's intense. People get sore. You have to kind of get used to it a
You have
little
to
bit.
ease into it. You
Yeah.
can't just jump in and say, crank this thing
Right?
up.
No, it feels like you're going to go through the ceiling if you're on it too high. But usually at a 10, it feels more of a shake. Then if I can bring it to a 15 or 16 for people, that's more muscle toning. And that's what people can really say. But it's weird at first. You're not used to it, so you're kind of
Saying before, and that this is true, it's a non-invasive
yes,
form of therapy to not to lose weight, but to shape the body.
right.
Right? So that's the key, is you're not getting hurt doing this.
No,
And you're not spending thousands of dollars
Right.
and then, you can't go out in public because you got your face wrapped up or your body wrapped up, right? So we know somebody
We're gonna-
that was getting their legs done and paying $4,000 per leg to have it the fat sucked out.
you know what
for plastic
happens when
surgery.
you suck the fat out?
Well, yeah, because I saw that same person 90 days later, and I was like, that is a good $8,000 that you just put
Right.
out.
Well, I just feel like you're changing the body like molecularly. Like, what you're going to remove the fat cell? The fat cell's there for a reason.
Right.
It's part of your lymphatic system. It's part of your sewage system. So when you remove them completely or kill them, what's going to happen when your body needs your fat cells to process things? It all starts there. So why would you try to change that? Then I get the people that have had like the liposuction, then they come in with a weird roll above the belly button instead of like where it would have been where there were fat cells, because they gained their 5 pounds over the holidays or whatever. Now I'm there
Right.
to shrink those fat cells from somebody that has like this weird roll over top of the belly. It's very strange to me, and not worth it to go under anesthesia and put your life at risk and all of that. There are things that can happen. Try something that works with your body naturally first before you go that extra.
That was a perfect way to end it. That was a perfect way to end the show.
Boom.
One more time, will you give the information about if somebody wants to contact the Cove
Sure.
or yourself before we leave today?
Okay, so I'm Body Contours by Michelle. I'm located inside the Cove Wellness Spa. We're at 5382 Roberts Road in Hilliard, Ohio. And you can reach our website at www.thehilliard. Excuse me.
The
No.
Cove.
You told me I was going to get stuck on this too.
Well, listen, I also told you I was going to get stuck on your name, and I only did that twice. So go ahead. What's the website again?
www.thecovehilliard.com. And services are there. You can schedule there. You'll find our phone number on there, which is 614-529-4199. Any other ways to get? I'm on Facebook as Body Contours by Michelle. Email
Yes.
Body
Ron Thomas.
Contours by Michelle at gmail.com. And it's BODYCONTOURS by
Yes.
Michelle.
It's on your shirt. I can tell.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle, thank you. This has been a great hour. I
I
appreciate
thank
it.
you for the opportunity. It's been awesome.
No problem. And thanks to Madison for not coming. That gave us more time to talk. You are listening to the 101 brought to you by Lincoln Wallace.
Body Contours by Michelle at gmail.com.